As a real estate professional, you're selling properties to both owner-occupiers and investors. Investors are investing in this property with the sole purpose of making money, wealth, now and in the future. Depreciation makes a big difference to the cash flow on these properties, and many investors don't understand it or don't understand it as much as they should. I want to arm you with the tools to be the trusted professional and knowing that this is important, know that it can be some money that makes a big difference to these investors, and how to use it to help you to sell more property. The first role play we're going to do is I'll play the agent who's selling a property and running an open house, and Irene has just been through the open house. What I want to do is show you where depreciation fits into that discussion, because we've identified that Irene's potentially an investor and something to help you get that sale across the line. So Irene, you've been through the property, tell me, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it looks really good to me. I've also had a look at your appraisal here for the rent, and $400 a week sounds really good as well. So I'll have a look further over it and get back in touch with you next week.
Great, Irene. I'll have the rental part of the office actually provide a bit more information, so that we'd love to manage the property for you as well, of course. But something else I did come across recently is I've spoken to the guys at BMT about depreciation, and as an investor, this place is pretty new. I think there's a lot of the time there's a deduction in depreciation that people don't take advantage of, and it's pretty easy to find out what sort of numbers that could be, and it will make a bit of a difference to the amount of money it will cost you to hold on to the investment. There's a website that has a calculator on there. You can get some indication of the numbers. So I'll send you that as well if you like, so you can see how much money you might be able to save through that. It might help you to be able to afford the property easier.
Yeah, well, that actually sounds like really good information, so please do send me the link. You've got my information, and yeah, I'll get back in touch with you after I've had a chance to look it all over.
Great, I'll do that. Now guys, that's just an example somewhat of how you can just sort of almost continue that discussion when they're when you're thinking they're about to leave. I know the depreciation exists, I know it's worth some money, and you might be able to get an indication of what that is, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. So if they are going to talk to their accountant about it or crunch their numbers in any way, it will make it look better. Welcome back. This role play will be a follow-up call on Irene. I'll play the agent again, and Irene's been through an open, looked at the property. She's thinking the numbers don't quite stack. I'll try to give you an idea of how you may be able to pull depreciation into that to help you get that sale across the line and give it another chance. So, ring ring. Hello Irene, it's Brad here. How are you today?
I'm really well. How are you, Brad?
Great. You came through Smith Street the other day. Just wondered if you had any interest in moving further.
Well, I was actually thinking about that. I've done a few calculations, been working through the numbers, and it just doesn't seem to work for me at the moment in terms of the cash flow. So, yeah, it's not something that I think of moving forward with at the moment. Okay, well look, we have done the rental appraisals, and we usually like to be a little bit conservative with those, because we don't want to give you a number and then you get a surprise later on. If the rent was $10 or $20 a week difference, do you think that would make a difference? Look, not really. In terms of my calculations, if it's just $10 or $20 more, then it still puts me in a negative cash flow position that I don't want to be in. Okay, so the $10 to $20 is not really going to make the difference. Have you thought about depreciation at all? Not really, but is it really going to make that much of a difference anyway? Well look, I'm not the expert, but I know that the depreciation deductions are something that a lot of investors don't get, and it does make sometimes a fair difference to the cash flow to investors on their properties. So how about I obtain an estimate for you of how much that might be? I know the guys at BMT, and they'll have a look at the property and give you some sort of indication of what sort of depreciation deductions there might be. And you can have a look at your numbers again, have a chat to your accountant if you wish to, and if that makes the numbers stack, maybe we can have another chat and it might be something that does suit you. Yeah, look, send it through and I'll rework my numbers and see how it goes from there. Great, I'll organise that and send that through. I'll give you a call next week just to follow up and see how that went. Great, thanks for your call, Brad. Now guys, that's a way to probably join yourself back into that discussion with an investor who probably doesn't know that much about some of these numbers.
we can give you those estimates for free on any property that you think you've got an investor on, to get an indication that they can use while they put their numbers together of how much depreciation might be, and it will actually make quite a difference to the cash flow for the investor. Welcome back. This role play will be me as an agent, probably selling a new project where we've actually already organised some depreciation estimates that we can help and provide as part of the sale. We provide these for free for your projects, and I'll just show you how we can potentially use it to get the sale across the line. Irene will be an investor coming in to look at this project, and we'll just do a bit of dialogue around that. So Irene, we've had a look at the plans. We're pretty confident with the project. We like the area. We like the developer. He's done a lot of good projects for us in the past. Do you have any further questions?
Well, I was looking at the documentation. It all looks really good. The plans look really good as well. So yeah, I'll have to do a few number crunching calculations and then see if we can afford it, and I'll be able to get back to you soon.
Great. Well, you've got the rental appraisals in there, and the guys have been fairly conservative with those, so that should be pretty good. The other thing that we've got in there for when you're crunching your numbers is we've already gone and seen the Quantity Surveyor about this project. Because it's a new project, you get pretty good depreciation deductions. Now, these deductions are something that a lot of investors sort of don't understand very well, but we actually understand that they're really important, and so we've found that a two-bedroom unit in this project is going to get about $10,000 to $12,000 a year in depreciation. So that helps it to cost you a little bit less to own, and we've already got the numbers there. So when you're crunching those numbers, make sure you take that into account, and you can ring the guys at BMT and they'll talk to you about it if you've got any more questions.
Well, that sounds actually really, really good. So maybe I will do that. I'll just get their details from you later maybe, and then I'll give them a call.
Great. Well, they're all on the documentation there, but we can do that really easily. Now guys, that's like a situation where you probably don't even need quite that much detail in that discussion, but just saying, look, we've already crunched these numbers for you in depreciation. We've already seen BMT, and the numbers are there. So if they are an investor who knows a little bit about it, they'll be looking for these numbers, and we'll make it look a little bit better so that the cash flow on that property is better that you're selling. Thanks.